First of all, did you complete? Did you revise your schedule?
Not here. You?
Did you find where the error is? I believe that you are making a filter or something like that.
Yes, now I can hear you. That's good. Sorry. I've checked yesterday my homework and I found some mistakes. At first, the duration from some task wasn't wrong. There was a mistake. So you can see, in general, I will end in September too. But and that was the reason for from the complicated relationships, and it was very crazy to make it clear. And so I found the mistakes in the duration, and there was one task missing. But in general, yesterday I saw by the activities or the details, you have two columns. On the left hand side, the predecessors, and on the right hand side, the successors. And
So, as I told you, it's better to right click beside this tab, right
yeah,
click beside predecessor, and
I,
customize and choose relationship. Right click here at the activity details bars, predecessor, at the predecessor and successor. Right click on it,
I thought right click.
customize.
Yeah.
Instead of predecessor and successor, choose relationship. Take a relationship from the left side and put it at the right side.
Okay, that's missing relationship. Yeah.
And take the predecessor and successor to the left side.
Okay.
It's a better view. It is the same function, but it's a better view
Yeah.
because a relationship showing the predecessor and successor as well in one window. Check relationship now. Here it is.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's good, and it's easier to make the check on the right and left hand side. Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Wonderful.
but I have a note here. Why there is no activity at engineering and design and foundation? Why it's empty?
That's a question, and I've changed here the layout or the task. Yeah, there are no projects, and I have played with these icons, but it was horrible. Yeah.
Yes.
And now there is no filter, and I can't understand why.
It means that straightforward. Some of the activity it is not at the proper place. So you create the activity with engineering, مثلا, as an example, at structure. So you have to revise as well. This activity belong to which work breakdown structure?
Okay.
Each activity belong to which work breakdown structure as the file I sent you for the workshop.
Yeah. That's clear. But I want to show you what was my work yesterday night. Yeah.
Yes.
How can I see here the project task or the bar? In previous activities, we have three previous activities and project here. Yeah.
Yes.
And I think my mistake was to delete here.
Again? So I believe that it's better to make the exercise again. I believe that it will be more easier if you do it again. Follow the steps directly. Create a new project from scratch.
Yeah.
And then create the work breakdown structure. follow the file at or the page at the page 54, which determine which activity belong to which work breakdown structure, and then it would be disaster to review what you created now. But it's better to start from scratch. This is your first trial in using Primavera. It will be better at the second trial, inshallah.
Okay, I will leave this meeting and go to the another computer. See you soon. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Today, where we are standing now, actually we standing in a point where Primavera can answer the first question, which they can answer. Primavera can answer 3 questions: when, who will do it, how much it will cost. Till yesterday, we answered the first question only: when each activity will be completed. To reach this point, we actually go through many steps. First of all, we create the dictionary, APS, OPS, calendars, and to be ready for the new project. After that, we want to file new and start creating a new project using the wizard, which we are going to provide necessary information to create a new project, like this project belongs to which EPS element, project ID and project name, planned start date for the project, who is responsible for this project. Now, after completing this process, we have an empty project. And this is what happened actually at the real life. At the real life, when you have when you have a project, you will go through this process. First of all, you have to create a new project, then start, complete the details. Type. What was the details? The details was, first of all, work breakdown structure. First step, after creating the project, we go to work breakdown structure window and create the work breakdown structure. As I told you earlier, Primavera will not help you in creating the work breakdown structure. There is no best practice. There is no standard practice. There is no a template to tell you, Primavera, this is a template for a construction, this is a template for oil and gas. You have to do your homework, sitting with your team, design work breakdown structure, draw a sketch showing the hierarchy of work breakdown structure, and then go to Primavera to represent this sketch or this work breakdown structure in Primavera. How can I do it? It is very easy tool. Add and arrows. Add to add a new elements, arrow to set the elements in its hierarchy. This is the only method. Actually, I will give you some advanced in the repeated project, like what, like if you have here مثلا as a residential area including many building, so I create the work breakdown structure based on the building. The lowest level at the work breakdown structure in the building itself, but this building is repeated. So it's better for me as a Tahir to facilitate and make the project faster, create the project faster. I don't have to create the whole work breakdown structure at the first step. I will create element only for the first building, then go to activity, complete all the activity for this building, and then return back to the work breakdown structure, copy this work breakdown structure element which include activity, and paste it to create the hierarchy. Do you understand my point? And especially in the repeated work, you don't have to repeat or to input to make data entry for all the activity. Just make one and then repeat it by copying the work breakdown structure element. When you copy the WBS element, it will include all the information related to the WBS element. This is a way to facilitate and accelerate the data entry of the schedule. After creating the work breakdown structure, we went to the activity window and we understand what is the different information we needed to create the activities. We need a lot of details like activity ID. It is very simple. Activity ID, we set the default setting for the activity ID at the project and telling Primavera that we will start with letter A. The suffix will be 1000 and the increment is 10. It is defaulted by default. By default, Primavera will create the activity ID. You don't have to bother yourself about defining the ID. Then put a name, choose the calendar for this activity. If you want to change the calendar for more than one activity at the same time, you can use not a drag, fill down, highlight all the activity and show the columns which represent the calendar, and use the order or command fill down to change many information at the same time. Then go to status and put the original duration. If you have any notes about it, go to Notes app and write the notes about the activity. Go to work products and document to attach a document to the activity. Go to steps to define the steps if the activity include more than one step. Go to codes and assign what the codes you already defined previously to use it later on in grouping and sorting and filtering. Go to relationship. Finally, go to relationship and define the relationship. What is the predecessor activity for the activity you are highlighting, and what is the successor activity, and what type of relationship between both of them. Those are the information we needed to define activities. Of course, one of the important information, this activity belong to which work breakdown structure, and it will be easy just to highlight the work breakdown structure at activity window and click add. By default, Primavera will add this activity under this work breakdown structure, and I believe that this is one of the mistakes you created at your homework, that you didn't highlight the engineering as an example to add the 3 activity under engineering. It's better to highlight the work breakdown structure element or level at the activity window and start adding from this point. Then when you complete the activity, go to another work breakdown structure and start add the related activity. Completed, then go to another work breakdown structure, and so on. By this way, you are sure that the activity you are going to create is related to its work breakdown structure. After we created the activity, it's now to apply a method called CPM, critical path method. Primavera is programmed to show the CPM, programmed by the formula of the CPM. The formula is very easy. I sent you yesterday the file, the Word file, which include the formula. 3 formulas. One to calculate the early finish, the second one to calculate the late start, and the third one to calculate the total float. It is a straightforward method, no problem at it at all. CPM will done in 4 steps. First of all, forward pass calculation. The aim of forward pass calculation that to calculate 2 dates for each activity, early start and early finish. The formula is early finish equal to early start plus duration minus 1. From where I can bring early start, you have to choose your imagination to choose the logic, to use the logic in order to determine the early start of each activity. Then put it at the formula, you can get the early finish. We will start from the left side of the network to reach the last activity at the right side. When we completed, we return back, and this step called backward pass calculation. Backward pass calculation is to generate another 2 dates, late finish and late start. The formula is late start equal to late finish minus duration plus 1. All you have to do is to determine the late finish of the activity, and then use the formula to calculate the late start. From where we get the late finish? From the logic, as I told you, as we did at the early start. After getting 2 dates, another 2 dates for each activity, now we have 4 dates for each activity, 2 late and 2 early. All we have to do is deduct late minus early, late start minus early start, or late finish minus early finish, finish minus finish, or start minus start, not the way you did it yesterday. Don't deduct late minus late. It is late minus early, finish minus finish, or start minus start. By this formula, we will produce something called total float. Based on the total float value, we determine what is the status of this activity. If the value is positive, it means that it is not critical. It has a total float. It means it has some time. It can be delayed without delaying the whole project. If it is 0, it means that it is critical. It means that it has no time to delay it. If it delayed, it will delay the whole project. If it is negative, it means that it is extremely critical because it is already has a delay on it. This is how to determine the total float, calculate the total float, and then determine the critical path. After creating the schedule, we want to, in my opinion, the best tool in Primavera, group and sort and filtering. Why? Because as I told you yesterday, group and sort, the responsibility of the planner not only to be data entry, to just add some information. Anyone can do that. Of course, with a little bit training, without a mistake like we did, what you did, but it is easy. It is easy if you completely focus on what you are doing. And at the real life, it will be easier than the workshop, by the way, because at the workshop, I'm giving you a list and you have to follow the list exactly. At the real life, you are free. Now you are highlighting the engineering, so you have to imagine what is the activity we needed for engineering and start adding one by one, define the duration of each activity, and then making the sequence between the activity. At the real life, you will be a planner. Here you are data entry. During the workshop, it is just data entry. It is not the purpose or responsibility of the planner to be just the data entry. It is for document controller or secretary, but you, as a planner, you will define the activity by yourself. You will identify the activity by yourself. You identify the relationship. You will calculate the duration of activity. All of this are your responsibility. When you will do the whole homework, it will be less mistakes in it because you are totally focusing what you are doing. You are the one who determine and decide which activity I will add it to this work breakdown structure. After we apply the critical path method, we use the group and sort by and filter in making many layouts. By default, the activities are grouped by work breakdown structure. And as I told yesterday, your boss or yourself want to see the information in a different way. Like what? Like I want to see it grouped by months of work. Which activity will start in which months? Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. And instead of choosing the work breakdown structure as a parameter of grouping it, we will use early start with interval 1 month. Primavera will change the view from the work breakdown structure to be by months. I can make a mix between data. I can make it time and work breakdown structure. I can make it code with time. I can make it code with work breakdown structure. I can make it code only. I can, whatever you want there, you can use it to generate group and sort by and generate many layouts and report as well. The second tool was filter. And filter, I believe that you know the importance of filter now. Just to extract the information and show only the necessary information you want to send. You want to send the work of mechanical people, or mechanical department to the mechanical department. So you don't have to send them all the schedule. If you send them all the schedule, they will not use it. They will not open it. They will not have interest to open it. But if you focus your information only for the activities they are responsible for, it will be better to be used. In some case, especially for a long duration project, you have to make segment of the project. What will be done next month? What will be done in 2 months? What will be done in the first quarter? In that case, you can create a filter showing the time, showing the activity which will be at the next time, not the whole activity of the project. Is it clear till now? I believe that the 30 minutes review is good for you. It is just to refresh your memory.
Yeah. That's okay, right?
Okay. Now it's time to go to Primavera again, and now we will start another topic, another important topic to answer the next 2 questions, which Primavera is responsible for. Who will do the job and what will be the cost of the job or the cost of the activity? To answer those two questions, by the way, I sent you at the WhatsApp now the presentation, the PowerPoint. I'm using it, which has the critical path calculation and some definition also. Did you receive it?
Yeah. Rewise 6, yes.
Yes, yes. This is the PowerPoint. This is a presentation I'm using. This presentation, which include the calculation we made it for the critical path method as an example. I keep it for your reference, just to return back to it if you need to refresh your memory for some definition of how it be calculated and so on.
That's a very good help for the future, baby. Of course.
Yes, 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 yes. Right. Now we are going to talk about resources. Actually, Primavera has two definitions of the resource: roles and resources. As I can pretend that I'm expert in Primavera, 99% of the planners and the company didn't use roles. They use only resource. Why? Because if you are going to use roles, it means that it is more effort of assigning the roles first and then resources. Type before this judgment, what the meaning of rules and what the meaning of resource? يقول لك rule is a job title, project manager, mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, civil engineer, regardless who is a civil engineer or who is a mechanical engineer. But when we said that resource, it means that it is individual, a specific individual. Ingo, Tahir, Yasser. This is what we meant in Primavera by resource. Primavera has two dictionary in resource: rule dictionary and resource dictionary. Why they make rules? And Tahir, you told me that almost nobody use it, because in some case, especially at the early planning stage, I don't know who exactly will do the job. Is it Tahir? Is it Ingo? Is it Yasser? Who will do the job? I don't know. I'm in a very early stage. So it's better to do what? This is in their opinion. To assign a job first. I need for this task mechanical engineer. I need for this task welder. I need for this task whatever. So I will assign a job first. Then when I know exactly who will do the job, I replace the role by the resource. That's why it is a little bit more effort, because I will make the assignment twice. Firstly, the job and then the name. At the real life, as I told you, 99% of the planners didn't use or doesn't use the roles. They go directly and assign resource. Okay, let's view the definition of both of them. Both of them are enterprise data. This is the answer of the question. I will ask you where we can find rules and resource. It is enterprise data. It will be available across all projects, and it is not your job as a planner. Usually the administrator who will do it.
Okay, one information. Could you please your screen, also
it is not
screen.
shared.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is not shared. Just a minute. I don't know why. The meeting is disappeared. I will create another meeting and send you the link, Ingo, huh?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, just a minute.
Mhm.
Ingo, are you still here?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the old one.
Okay. Einsetzen.
I found it. Don't go to the other one.
Ah, okay. Jetzt it looks good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can see the screen now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Type again. We are here to talk about the second and third question which Primavera is used to answer. We actually, during the previous 3 days, we got the first answer, when we'll do it. By applying the critical path method after creating the activity duration and relationship, we know now when each activity will be started and finished. Now it's time to know who will do the job and how much it will cost me to do the job. This is the aim of rules and resource. As I told you, rule is just a job. You can notice at the screen that I will create a role for the project manager. I don't know who is the project manager, who will do it exactly, which one individually will do it, and the resource mean that it will be Ingo, Tahir, John, whatever it is, a specific individual. Why we have to define rules? Why Primavera define rules first? Like in some cases, especially at the planning stage, you don't know exactly who will do the job. That's why it's better to assign a job first, then use the job to as a placeholder to replace it by a resource. Right. Both of them, rules and resource, are enterprise information, and it is not your job to do it. Actually, when you work in a big company, the administrator of the company who will be responsible for define rules and resource. Right. Rules is associated to resources according to their function. It means that for each rule I'm going to define, I will assign or connect the resources to these rules. And then later on, I will use this rule as a placeholder to the activity assigned. Like the screen, we have some rules: senior software, system architect, business analysis, database administrator. As I told you, it is a job not related to any resource. But when I define the resource, I said that Suzanne is a system administrator and she can work also as a business analysis. But system architect is her primary role. This is her main job. From the view, you can say that it is we can assign the one resource to more than one role. In Oracle point of view or Primavera point of view, that it is maximize the use of the resource. If you don't have work to for Suzanne as a system architect, you can use her as a business analysis. This is the benefit of role. You can, after assigning the roles, you can, let's say, connect this role with the resource, and each resource can be assigned to more than one role. Type. What about the resource? By the way, resource and roles is one of the administrator or the one of the advanced course. So يعني I'm trying to give it to you just to understand. If usually at the basic course, I will let my trainee know it, in spite of it is not their responsibility later on, but they have to know how to define both of them. We will take a very short time to define the roles, and will take a lot of time to define the resources, because as I told you, 99% of the work using resource only and does not using roles. Right. What about resource? Primavera defines 3 type of resource there at the database. The first one called labor, the second one called non-labor, the third one is called material. What the meaning of labor? It is just people. It will be measured by units and time. It will be used through the activities and the project. And we will define price unit, for example, $50 per hour and so on. So each role, each resource I'm going to define as a labor, I have to define how much it will cost me to use this resource. Non-labor is the different name of equipment. It is used to measure on units of time, how many hours per day, and it has a cost per units as labor. Finally, the third one is material, which represent the material needed to complete the work. Okay, let's go to Primavera and see the part, the theoretical part. We have it now, from where we can do it and how to do it. First of all, make sure you are opening the project training final.
Yeah.
And you are not applying any filter.
Mhm.
Of course, it is not necessary to open a project, because as I told you, resources and rules are enterprise information. And when we talk about the enterprise information, you don't have to open any project during creating the enterprise information. But we will use this project later on to assign the resources. Now, do you now have training final in your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start. The first question is where we can find rules and resources. Is it project information or enterprise information? Can you answer me?
Project information.
يا راجل, are you sure? We said that during it is an enterprise. Rules
Yeah.
and resources will be used for the whole project. So enterprise information, resource and roles is enterprise information. And by the way, this is one of the major change they make it from B3. You told me in 2002 you have a workshop in B3. At the B3, resources was project information. But here, it is
Okay, yeah.
defined as enterprise information. Why? Because it could be used by the whole project at the database. As an example, you have 4 cranes. Are the cranes related to one project, or this equipment related to the whole enterprise? Of course, the equipment is related to the enterprise. As Ingo, you are a civil engineer working in company XYZ, and you can support project 1 or project 2 or project 3. And I need to monitor your performance during the whole project you assign to. So it means that labor also is one of the enterprise information. In a summary way, rules and the resources are enterprise information. Type.
Yeah.
Can you choose it? Yes, we can. We can go to enterprise and search. Yes, we have 2 things here, rules and resources. Did you notice it?
Yeah.
We'll start first with rules. We'll take only 2 minutes or 3 minutes in rules because we don't have to take much effort on it, just to understand the concept
yeah.
beside the rules, and then
Yes.
it. Let's
Okay.
go to rules. Okay, nothing there. No, there is something, but the display is showing a filter. Display current project rules, and we don't have any rules in our project. That's why I have to click on display, go to filter by, and choose all rules.
Okay.
Here it is. A list of all rules the administrator already defined it in this database. We will go there to management, construction rules, management, project manager. Highlight the project manager if you can notice it. Project manager rule mean that it is a job description of the project manager. Did you reach the project manager?
No, corporation, yeah, management, yes.
Under construction, there is a construction corporation management, and then construction corporation project manager.
Yeah.
Here it is. We will understand the concept beside the rule from this highlighted one. Starting from general. What the general is, you're like, to create a role, you have to put ID and name as well. When we said ID in Primavera, it must be unique. You cannot repeat it anymore. Right. And then this role is a job. What will be the job description or responsibility for this job? Here it is. Beneath the project, the role ID and role name, you can find the responsibility of this job. Because later on, if you are a planner and they want to assign the project manager, you have to understand what the project manager is and what is his responsibility in order to assign it to an activity. How to modify and add? Click modify.
Okay.
At the modify, you can add more information, add more job description, just to let everyone understand what this role means. Cancel. The second tab is, this is a role, this is a job. Who will do the job? Who is capable to do this job in our organization? Who can work as a project manager from the resource? Here, this is the point where we connect roles with resource. This tab define who in the organization can work as a project manager working as this role. طب how can I assign? I didn't define the resources yet. يقول لك both of them must be defined, roles and the resource. Then you have to connect both of them. Type. Can I add more resources if I have? Yes. Click assign. Follow me at the screen. Change the display from current to all. And we have engineer, her name is Wendy Risner. I will search for Wendy Risner. Wendy Risner is a mechanical engineer, but she has some training about the project manager, so she can also work as a project manager. This will be not the primary role, but will be the second role. How to choose it? Search for her and click it. Here it is. Sorry. Here it is. This tab saying that at this role, at this job, project manager job, we have two at the organization can do the job. Tim Harris, and his proficiency is expert. Master is the first level, is the highest level. Expert is the second level. Skilled is the third level. Proficient, fourth, and fifth is inexperienced. Tim Harris, because he's an old project manager, he got the highest level. This point show that when I assign the resource to role, I can show his proficiency in doing the job. Type. For the Tim Harris, project manager is the primary role. His main job is a project manager. But Wendy Risner that we are assigned now, it is not her primary role. It means that if I'm going to choose her, I have to choose her first as a mechanical engineer. Then if I have time or a small project, I can choose her as a project manager. So at this tab, we are connecting the roles with the resource and defining the proficiency of the resource using this role, and is it his primary role or not? Unit price. What the unit price? You like unit price? This is how much it will cost me to use this role. But this role include many resources. How can I define the cost? Sure, the cost of Ingo is different than the cost of Tahir. Cost of Tim Harris, he's expert. It means that he has a higher salary, more than Wendy Risner. So how can I define the cost of the role? Actually, we usually use the average of the cost. Why we need it? Because if you want to assign a role in your plan, you need to know how much it will cost you. So put an average here, average salary, average price for all the resource belong to this role. Here we are going to, we can assign a cost for it. We will define the maximum limit of this resource and how much it will cost me for each type of cost. Finally, codes. Is this role has any codes? I can assign codes to the role. This is the information needed to create a role. But how to create it? Look to the screen, highlight construction as an example, use add, and then use arrow as we did before to set the hierarchy. Then after setting the hierarchy, go and define the information we already described. Time. Again, what rule is? Rule is a job. Why they are defined it? Because, as I told you, they are assuming that at the early stage of the planning, you don't know exactly from the labor who will do the job. But you know that we need a job there. We need someone to be a job, to be project manager, mechanical engineer, draftman, iron worker, whoever will be it later on. We need to assign the job first and then replace it later on. So they define something called roles and they connect the roles by resources. Here it is. As I told you, this is one of the advanced topic, and usually 1%, less than 1%, it will be used at the real life, but you have to know it. Right? Close it. Let's go to the resources, which we will use it a lot of time. Did you went to resources?
Yeah.
Okay. It is a window, another window, starting with the resource ID column, then the resource name, then the resource type, then unit of measure, primary role, and default units per time. It is a hierarchy. We can define the resource as a hierarchy, as you can see. And you can differentiate between the different type of resource from the symbol of the resource. If it is a human, it means that it is labor. If it is a part of equipment, it means that it is non-labor. If it is a block work, it means that it is material. So here we can define three types of resource: labor, non-labor, and material. Type. If I will search for someone, Control F, follow me, just follow me. Control F is, by the way, is working here.
Mhm.
Okay. When you are going to assign the resource to the activity later on, you will find that the resource has a shade. If the resource has a shade, it means that it is assigned to the current project. But now we didn't assign any resource. That's why there is no shade for any resource. Right. How to use the table? You're like, if you click on resource ID, it will tune to a list, alphabetical order in ascending order. Another click, it will tune to another list in descending order, alphabetical order. Another click, it will tune again to hierarchy. This is how to use it. Type. Please, we will search for a resource just to understand what the information needed to create a resource. Control F and search for Wendy Resner, WRES. How Control F work? Control F, follow me at the screen. If I'm highlighting the resource ID, so I have to search by the ID of the resource. If I'm highlighting the name, so I have to search by name. So Control F is working, depends on where I'm highlighting, which column I'm highlighting. I'm highlighting resource ID, so when I click Control F, I will search for a resource ID. Search, please search for a resource. Her name is, or her ID is WRES, Wendy Resner. Did you find her? Ingo.
Yeah, I tried Control F. No. Let's try to zoom on. Yes. I found it.
Okay, great. Let's start with Wendy Resner and understand what the information we needed to create a resource. Starting with General tab. At the General tab, we need resource ID. And when you hear ID in Primavera, it must be unique. You cannot repeat the ID. Then resource name. Then if she has employee ID, I believe that in the big company, every employee has his own ID and it is unique. Put the employee ID. Put her job title, automation system engineer. Her email, office phone, and finally the box active and it's checked. It means that she's still working at the company. If she leave, all I have to do is uncheck this box. Why? Because later on I will let the planner assign only the active resource, not inactive resource. So if she's still working, it's still in the company, the checkbox of active must be checked. If she left the company or for any reason she is not working anymore, I have to go here and uncheck because I will use this later on to filter the resource and select from it. This is the first information we need for the resource. The second one is codes. Do you remember codes from the activity? It is the same use. Same steps. Define, assign, use. Here we are dealing with a huge enterprise, has many locations. So the administrator said that we need a code which defines the location of each resource. Yes, I have 5,000 people, 5,000 equipment, 5,000 resource, but I want to know in which location this resource is belonging to. As you see, they define a code called location with a value of est and assign the est code to the Wendy Risner. It means that Wendy Risner at the eastern region of United States of America. Why I'm using codes? For filter grouping, as same what we did in the activity. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Details, the most important step. First detail is this: which type of resource this resource is. We have labor resource, non-labor resource, and material resource. Wendy Risner, of course, she's an engineer. She is defined as labor resource. But can I change the type now? No, you cannot change the type. The resource type can not be changed because this resource is already assigned to some of the activity. That's why I cannot change the type. But during creating the resource, I have the chance to select what type of resource I'm going to define. Again, we have three types. Labor, it means that human. Non-labor, it means that equipment. Material, it means that it is material will be used in work. And when I select material, this tab will be active, which represents the unit of measure. If I'm selecting material as an example, cement, it will be by ton. Steel, by ton. Wood, it will be cubic meter. Whatever the pipes, it will be long meter, and so on. So when I define the resource type material, this unit of measure will be open to select what unit of measure of this resource. Type. Currency. We have here in Primavera supporting multiple currency, and this is also one of the administration job is to set the currency in Primavera. But the point is, I have a basic currency. By default, the basic currency in Oracle Primavera is US dollar, but I'm hiring Engu, and Engu I will pay him by euro. So can I change the currency of the resource, choose another currency, not the default? Yes, I can. Of course, I have to define the currency first. This currency are by default defined at the database. Here it is, euro. And I said her currency is euro and select it. So I can change a different currency or select a different currency for each resource. Time. She will work normally 8 hours per day. Can she work as an overtime? If she can, all I have to do is check this box, overtime allowed. It means that in Primavera, I can accept that she is working more than 8 hours per day, the normal duration, because overtime is allowed to her. Type. Is the cost of the overtime is the same as the normal time? No, it is 1.5. When she will work overtime, if she is paid, his salary is $100 per day, it means that during the overtime it will be 150. Is it clear till now?
Yeah.
Time. Wendy Risner seems that she has a special calendar. Do remember during the calendar at the first day, we can define three types of calendar: resource calendar, global calendar, and project calendar. Here we are defining a special calendar for Wendy Risner for some reason. Maybe she is working part-time, 2 or 3 days only per week. That's why she has a special calendar where we can define her vacation, her working time, and so on. what is the importance of resource calendar? If we choose activity type as a resource dependent, it means that when we calculate the schedule, Primavera will get the calendar of the resource as a reference to make the schedule. Usually at the real life, we choose the same calendar of the company for the whole resource, unless he has a special calendar or a special contracting with us, which represent less time or more time than the global calendar. Type, how many hours per day? 8 hours per day. And then 2 boxes. The first one is calculate, or the second one, calculate cost from units. And this is by default checked. Why checked? As I told you, when we assign a resource, by default, we will assign the cost. Because when I said Ingo is working for 40 hours in this activity, and his cost is $100 per hour, it means that the total cost of the activity will be 4,000. From where Primavera calculated the cost? From this information. How many units you are using for this resource, and how much it will cost for the resource according to his definition. So it will come up with the total cost. When I check this box, I am telling Primavera, automatically calculate the cost from units. طيب, what about the second one? Auto compute actual. Auto compute actual is a very strange feature. It means that regardless activity started or not, let the resource started if I'm assigning it as an auto compute actual. What that mean? أقول لك Ingo, you are an expert. We need you in Egypt for a project. Okay, your work will start next Sunday. The Sunday is the first day in our calendar. Great. You get the flight, go to hotel in Cairo on Saturday, and you went to the site at Sunday. Great. Type. I'm ready to start my work. Where is my work? Where is my part of work? You're like, no, sir, we are not ready. Your work is not ready. So please take a tour in pyramids or Hurghada for 2 days or 3 days, and then return back when we complete the previous work. My question is,
That's a good, wonderful vision.
are we going to pay you your cost or not? In this case,
I think
we
so.
have I
Yes.
think so. So the activity is not started yet, but the resource has some actual. In spite of it is not started yet. If this is the case of the resource, and by the way, it is exception, it is not the default setting. If this is the case, all you have to do is mark this box. It means that Primavera, if this resource started his work or coming in his place without the activity start, make his units actual. In some cases, I will rent a car, I will rent a crane to bring it at the site to use it in the site. The renter, the service provider, send me the crane on time, but the work is not ready. So do I have to go to pay him the rent cost or not? Yes, I have to pay him because he sent me in the time and I didn't use it. It is not his problem. So by checking this box, it means that I can assign actual to the resource without the activity start. Is it clear, Ingo?
Okay.
Okay. Unit price, this is a place of defining the price of the resource. Look to the screen, you will find it very, very important to do it. Wendy Reisner started her job in our organization in 1st of January 1999, and her standard rate was $22 per hour. But after 2 years, she got a raise and she is now 24.2. Every 2 years, she got a raise till January 11, and her Standard rate now is 38.5. What that mean? It means that I can change the cost of the resource over time. Just assume we have steel work, and the steel now is, let's say, 1,000 euro for ton. During the work, suddenly some price increased in the market, and the price of the iron is 1,200 now. All I have to do is go to this tab, add. Primavera will do what? Will say now today is 11 of November 24. What is the new cost at this point? It is $100. By providing this information, Primavera will do what? Will recalculate the cost of the activity, of the cost of the project based on this information. All the tasks use this resource before today will be calculated based on the previous price. All the task or remaining task after this day will be, the cost will be calculated based on the new cost. It is very, very important and very beautiful tool. I could track the changes in the resource cost, and directly it will impact my cost in the schedule. By doing what? All I have to do is just go there and select the date where this new cost happened. Primavera will do what? Will recalculate the cost of the remaining work based on this new cost. Is it clear, Ingo?
Okay.
Okay, it is a very good tool, by the way. Very, very good to keep you updated, and especially in the cost. Right. Rules. Do you remember rules? Yes, rules. We already just 5 minutes ago, we assigned Wendy Risner as the project manager. Here it is. She has 2 roles as a mechanical engineer, and she is skilled 3. No, she is expert, we'll make it expert. And she has another role. She can work as a project manager with less proficiency. And this is not her primary role. It means that this is the place where we connect rules and resource together. Notes, it is like notebook to add any notes regarding this resource. Don't use air in night shift because she has a baby. As an example, I am the resource manager, and I'm putting some notes about the resource just to let everyone who is using this resource to give him a note. She is good in something, she is bad in something, don't use her in something. Any notes regarding this resource. This is the information we needed to create a resource. Now it's time for you to create 3 types of resource. How to add a new resource? It's very easy. We are assuming that we don't have a resource at the database, and as an expert planner, I will create the resource for my enterprise. How to add a resource? Just click plus. Are you following me?
R is a new one. Yes, yeah, okay. What do you have done? A new.
Just go there.
You will add a new person. A new.
At the command bar, click add. Are you at my same page? Did you open the wizard of creating a new resource?
Yeah. But where's the add arrow or bar? I can't find it.
At the command bar at the right side.
On the right side. Okay, my screen. Okay. Copy. On the right hand side, I can't find it.
Primavera, open a wizard, assistant wizard, which it will help you in creating a resource. Actually, I don't like the wizard like we did in the activity wizard. We will close it and will not use it again.
Okay, now, yeah.
Engo joined us in our organization, so I want to add him to the list of resource in order to be used later on to be assigned to the activity. So first of all, I will add ID. The ID is Engo, and his name is Engo as well. What is the condition of the ID? The ID must be unique, so you cannot add the same ID for any resource. Next, what type of resource Engo is? Is it labor, equipment, or material? Of course, Engo is labor. I will choose labor. Next, how much he will cost me for hour? I said that it is $1, $100 per hour. And the normal working hour is 8 hours, and the maximum is 8. It means that he's not allowed to have overtime, only 8 hours per day. Is it clear, Engo? Next, his email and his phone number. Engo at yahoo.com. His phone, sorry, and his email. Why we need this information? To communicate with the resource. Actually, especially the email, Primavera can be connected to the Exchange server of the emails. If you have an Exchange server for your enterprise, we can connect the IT, the administrator can connect Primavera to this Exchange email server, and we can send email from Primavera to the resource telling him that you are doing a late job, you have some delay. So putting the email and the phone is very important at the real life, especially if you are installing Primavera in a server and connecting this server to the Exchange server. Next, is this resource has connected to any roles? I can assign here and say that yes, he can work as a project manager, he can work as a civil engineer as well. Engo has 2 roles. His first role, because he's a senior, he's a project manager, this is his primary role, but he can work also as a civil engineer. This is where we can connect the resource with rules. Of course, I have to define the rules first in order to assign it to the resource here. Next, resource calendar. Is Engo has a special calendar, I have to create a new one for it, or he will use an existing calendar? No, Engo is a normal employee, so he will use our own calendar, which is a standard 5 days per week. Or I can change it. Can I create a special calendar for him? Yes, by checking the second point, the second statement, create a new personal calendar. If I select the second one, Primavera will lead you to create a calendar. So we can create a calendar from here. Just to show to you, here it is. Edit, Engo. This is what called Engo, and I can set what is the working time and non-working time for Engo. Next, do you need this resource auto-complete actual? His special resource will be paid in spite of the activity we started or not? Yes. Next, congratulations, you created a resource. Here it is. Now we have a resource called Engo, and we can review his information, what we created earlier. Did you complete the resource?
Yeah.
Right. Now I want from you to add another two resource, one non-labor, it means equipment, and one material. Please try it yourself and add it. Are you doing it, Ingo?
Yeah, the concrete material, yeah.
You can notice that the material, especially at the material, there is something called units of measure. Here it is. This is material resource.
Yeah.
And during the details, the more
Yeah.
unit of measure is active. So you have to choose what the unit of measure for this material.
Mm-hmm. And the equipment, construction, IT. Where is the equipment? Construction. Okay.
So now you know how to create resources.
But the non-label, that's material too, or where can I find or edit?
Edit what?
The equipment, the
unit of
non-label
measure.
part. Yeah.
Highlight the material as I'm doing now at the screen.
Yeah.
Open details tab.
Yeah. And then non-label.
And then select the material type.
Yeah. And if we are talking about equipment, I will add or choose the non-labor part, or?
Yes, yes. Equipment is non-labor and material. We have three types. Human is labor. Equipment and mechanical is and mechanics is non-labor. Any other material called material. That's why when I said material, there is a list of unit of measure here. Of course, if you don't like this unit of measure and you want to add something, it is the administrator role. I will tell you how to do it. Here it is from admin categories. Units of measure. Here it is where you can add more units of measure. Also, the error you face during logging to Primavera, it is admin preferences. The industry, usually ask you about the industry. Industry is not defined. Is it still the errors appear when you log to Primavera? Ingo,
Yeah.
you told me that there is an error when you look to Primavera that the industry is not defined. From where I can define the industry for the database, go to admin.
Yeah.
Admin preferences.
Yeah.
Industry.
Okay.
Choose construction, engineering and construction. By choosing it, the error will not appear anymore.
Okay. Industry.
Okay. Now, I believe it is 10:20 in your time. We will take only 15 minutes. We'll return back at 10:35 your time, 11:35 Cairo time. Just assign this resource. Now we define the pool of resource, how to assign it to the activity, and then how to monitor it. This will be at the next session, inshallah.
Okay.
Okay, just 15 minutes. We return back.
Yeah.
10:35.
Okay.
Okay, see you.
See you.